All right. Hello. How you feeling today? I'm Dan Passarelli. Thanks for joining me. And I am so excited to be with you right here, right now. I'm honored to have this opportunity to speak to you about this key way that I consistently generate cash. I do it with a simple technique that anyone can use. Not only is it a way to generate greater income, but it works in all market conditions, and I've cracked the code on how to do it. Before we get started, I need to point out options are not for everyone. You should read characteristics and risks of standardized options before trading. Here's what we're going to do together today. This is my promise to you. I'm going to share with you how it's possible to generate cash consistently over and over again while lowering risk, even in stocks that are headed lower. So then you don't have to rely on buying and holding. At the end of this presentation, I'll share with you how you can move forward and get the exact same steps that I use every day to do it. Sounds great? Fair deal? Give me a yes. I want to see if we can get some participation here. Does all that sound like a really great deal here? Yeah, let's see here. I got a yes from Irving. Who else we got here? Anybody? You guys want to let me know you're live here, that you can hear me? Give me a yes if you can hear me. There we go. Helen, whoop, whoop, Mark. Yeah, all right. That's what I like. Okay, good. I love participation. That makes me know that you are as excited about this as I am, because I'm really excited to be here. And look, the only way to make a change is to follow through and to take action, right? You're the one in control of your future wealth, right? I'll help you as much as I can, just like I've done with our most successful traders. In order for you to get the most out of this and be able to take the next step, I ask you for the next hour or so, turn off your cell phone or close your open tabs, close Facebook, let yourself get immersed in what I am about to share. This is about you. This is your time. Allow yourself to give this your full attention. And to further keep the focus, I'm going to hold all questions until the end of the presentation. If you have a question, go ahead and write it down or put it in the questions box. I will cover all of them at the end of this presentation. The idea is not to buy and hold praying that your stocks go up. The idea is to tap into the income source already in your portfolio to generate cash consistently over and over while lowering your risk without being handcuffed to simply buy and hold and, sometimes pray, right? And the best part is the way it works is Wall Street traders actually pay you every 2 weeks and they help you sell at a profit. And the only way to tap into this stream of income is through my S.M.A.R.T income system. I do this every day in my own personal accounts, and so can you. By the end of this presentation, you'll be ready for buy, and hold, and hello to a smart investing system. Now, the first thing that you need to know is that if you haven't been getting the results you want, it's not your fault. The buy and hold strategy simply does not work anymore, or at least not in its traditional form. With all your wealth tied up in stocks that are at the mercy of the market, there's just too much risk and it takes too long. And these stocks are controlled by the big players, forces way bigger than you. What if you could make real cold hard cash right now, not by risking more by buying more stocks, but actual cash out of the investments you already have without adding risk, and in fact, lowering your risk while increasing your profits? If you could do that, wouldn't that make a lot of sense, right? Well, look, I struggled for years with my investing, trying to find better stocks to buy, set stop losses at the perfect levels, using complex indicators, and ultimately buying and holding and waiting until I discovered how to tap into the investments that I already had to make consistent low risk cash in all market conditions. Once again, my name is Dan Passarelli, and this is a pictorial representation of just some of the companies that I work with. I'm a former member of both the Chicago Board Options Exchange and the Chicago Board of Trade, now part of the CME Group. I'm the author of 2 of the top option trading books, The Market Taker's Edge and Trading Option Greeks. I'm a regular contributor to Bloomberg TV and Fox Business News and lots of other online publications. And I train traders just like you all over the world in over 50 countries. Warren Buffett said, if you don't learn to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. Warren Buffett also figured out a way to consistently generate cash. And in fact, one of the ways he does it is the exact same way that I will share with you today. And other great investors use this exact technique you're about to discover too. In fact, it's sort of the big secret in the industry. All the top money makers do this one simple thing. Mark Cuban does exactly what I'll share with you today. In fact, if it wasn't for him using this exact technique to protect his shares when broadcast.com collapsed during one of the previous financial collapses, he would not be who he is today. This technique literally made him rich during a financial crash. Jim Rogers does this too. John Kamisic, formerly with Goldman Sachs, who actually leads our daily group coaching meeting for our elite traders, where he reveals the top trades in the market every day, also uses this exact same technique. And by the way, at the end of this presentation, I'm going to share with you how you can get complimentary access to that class for a full month to get John's trade ideas. And the list goes on. Rick Santelli does this too. These traders are the best of the best. They use this exact simple technique to have the rest of Wall Street traders pay them regular payments every couple of weeks, just like I do. And just like I'll share with you right now. Here's how this works. What if you could get regular cash income, like a paycheck, every 2 weeks from Wall Street traders? And they also help you sell your shares when the market is up. And you can buy them back from them when the market is down. Would you be interested in learning more? Of course, right? Well, I sat down and mapped out exactly what this would look like for you on a typical stock. This is part of a trading system that, when followed closely, both pays you cash and helps you do what's called scalping stock. That's buying stocks when they're at low prices and turning around and selling them at high prices. And it's all contractually arranged, and a real Wall Street trader is on the other side of this contract. I'm simplifying this for you. Imagine you own this stock. The first step enables you to create a contract in which, in this case, you would get paid $138. And the Wall Street trader you made the contract with watches your stock, and you get to sell it to him if it goes up a lot. So far, so good, right? Now, the cool thing is that these contracts only last a certain period of time. In this case, 2 weeks. After the 2 weeks, if you don't sell your stock to the trader, the contract ends and you keep that money. You simply make another contract. In this case, we'll say you collect $127. Then after 2 weeks, that contract expires and you make another contract with the trader. There are a number of professional traders who are willing to do this. So it might be the same person or it might not. And it really doesn't matter, as long as you keep getting that income, right? So in this case, you'd collect $131 for your contract this time. Your cash, which is riskless, by the way, right? Your cash keeps adding up. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds crazy. Why would this professional trader make this contract with you? Doesn't he lose money? No, that's the beauty of this. The trader who has the contract with you is hedged. He's protected and doesn't have to worry. And in fact, that's why when your stock does go up too much, he's able to buy the shares you sell him at the agreed upon price. So now when the stock goes up above a certain price, you end up selling your shares at a good price. Everybody's happy, you're making money. Then next Monday when the market opens again, guess what happens? Ching, it's payday again. Your new contract gets you $152 this time. And here's what happens next. Now the market goes down to the level at which the professional trader has agreed to sell it to you. And you can buy the stock from him at this lower level. And again, he's hedged. He's glad to sell it to you, and you are really glad to buy it. Here you'd have bought your stock back at a low. And then the next day, boom, payday again. Receive $123. And it goes on and on like this. It goes up a lot. And you sell by assigning your shares in the contract to the trader. Then write another contract, collect $154 this time. And by the way, all these contracts are like very common standard transactions. You don't like need a lawyer or notary public or anything crazy like that, right? These simple common contracts, literally, they just require the simple click of a mouse. As long as you can follow a simple system and can click a button that says place order, give me a yes if you think you're up for the task. Can you click a button today that says place order? Give me a yes if you think you're up to the task, because if you can do that, this is going to be really easy. Irving says yes, and Helen says yes. Who else we got? We've got some really talented folks here who are able to make this happen. Right, great, good. So now look, then it's just simply following along. After this expiration, we collect $149. Then when the market's lower, buy back your shares. Then collect $117 this time. And then we get another paycheck. And then we get another, and then we sell our shares at a high level. And then we collect $159. Then we get a paycheck, get a paycheck, get a paycheck, get a paycheck, get a paycheck. And it works. Smart, right? Are you getting this? This is super easy. But I want to call your attention to something. This is a 6-month chart. If you originally own 100 shares of this stock, when it was at $170 a share 6 months ago, how much money can you make on that $17,000? Well, with the buy and hold and, well, you know, sometimes pray strategy, you could have made a little bit. But then again, it could have gone down. You could have lost a little bit, or maybe a lot. But what about collecting smart income? These paychecks, as they call them. How much cash can you bring in using this system? And that's the thing that really changed my life when I discovered what was going on with this. See, I came from the trading pits in Chicago, right? I knew a lot of people who use this technique. And when they first shared it with me, they described it as limited insurance. And I didn't get it. Limited insurance? I mean, it's obvious that this is an incredible way to tap into the existing portfolio that you have and get cash out of it that you wouldn't be able to do without this system. That's instantly clear, but limited insurance seemed kind of strange. Like, how is generating $138 of cash insurance? But then it hit me. It's not about the $138 or the $152. It's not even about the scalps of stock you lock in by buying when it's low and selling when it's high. The key to unlock the real power is the system itself. If I own $17,000 worth of stock and I collect $138, $127, $131, and so on and so on and so on, Sooner or later, I've collected enough cash to cover losses if the stock goes down, even if it goes down a lot. Once I was invited to be a speaker at an investors conference, and someone came up to talk with me afterwards, and I shared with them this system. And he said, oh yeah, I've been doing this for years. And he said, in fact, there's this one stock that I've been doing this on for almost 10 years, and I've collected more cash from writing these contracts than I spent on the stock originally. He effectively now owned the stock for free. Now that is the best insurance you can buy. This is a system in which the sooner you start using it, the better, right? Because it adds up and protects you the longer you use it. No waiting until tomorrow. Now is the best time to start, right? So I've been doing this for years. Here is a recent screenshot from my IRAs. This 2-week period netted me about what? 456 plus 373, 396, and 317, 561, like 2,600 bucks or so, right? This can be a typical 2 weeks for you. Maybe not every 2-week period will work out like this. There will be some where you'll have to manage your trades and make some adjustments, but I want your mind to start working with me, right? But the problem is a lot of people, they make it hard. I've heard every excuse in the book for inaction, for status quo, for letting opportunity pass you up. And frankly, it's laziness. I've heard, oh, it's too hard. Oh, it's too time consuming. I don't know how to do it yet, right? I don't want to make thousands of extra dollars a month. Okay, I didn't actually hear that one, but look, by not getting started with this right now, that's basically what you'd be saying, right? So I put everything you need to know into one simple step-by-step SMART system that shows you exactly what to do, the exact steps to follow. So you can do exactly what I do in just 5 minutes a day. I've made it so you can't mess it up. This is Kat. When she first came to us, she did not have a plan. And that showed in her results at the time. She went on to become one of our top students. She made the commitment to herself, and it's really working for her. Like, anybody who wants to do this can do this. This is the system that I created for our traders. They're just 5 simple steps. First, we simplify how to find the trades. Second, we screen them so we're always making the most of our time and of our money. Third, we just follow the checklist to pick the best choice so we're always making the most and constantly lowering our risk. Now, fourth, we make sure we're getting the best results when we actually make the trade. And lastly, and this is the part that people stress about, struggle with, and frankly mess up the most if they just try and wing it, is managing the trades. That part can and should be the simplest part of all of this. Now, here's how this works. For those of you who maybe haven't figured this out yet, this system uses options. Excuse me one second. This system uses options. And there are 2 types of options. They're calls and puts. And we use them both in this system. Now, a call option is a contract where there's 2 parties, and we call one the buyer and one the seller. Now, the buyer, just like when you buy anything, pays money to the seller. And when that person buys a call, if the stock goes up through the strike price, which we'll share later, I'll share how that works later. If the stock goes up through the strike price, the person who owns that call will exercise it, and the person who is short that call will end up selling the stock. So what our role in this is going to be is to be the seller. Why? Two reasons. One, we want to collect income. We want to collect money. Two, we want to sell when stocks go up, right? Second, there are puts. Puts are the same thing, but just the opposite. With a put, it's a contract between two parties. One's the buyer, one's the seller. And the person who buys the put pays money to the person who sells the put. And if the stock goes down through the strike price, the person who owns the put will exercise it and therefore sell the stock to the person who sold the put. We again are going to be the seller in this contract as well. Because why? We want to collect money and we want to put ourselves in a situation where we're buying on dips, buying when the stock goes lower. All these contracts expire on a certain date. If we don't sell because of the call we sold or buy because of the put we sold, then we just get to keep the money when the option expires and we just do it again. This becomes a very powerful way to control your financial future. So the question you're probably asking is exactly how do I use options to tap into this hidden income source that's sitting there in my portfolio? What do I need to know to get started? And what do I do after that? Well, I've been referring to this as a paycheck, right? Just like getting a paycheck anywhere else, you want to make the most efficient use of your time and your resources. Like, what's better? A backbreaking job that's stressful and miserable and costs money to travel to and pays practically nothing? Or do you want a paycheck that compensates you well for your time and your other resources you invest? Whether we're talking about a job or trading, the answer is the same. The end goal is a good life, to have free time, to have safety, to have an income stream to live comfortably off, to have low stress in your life. There are 5 steps in the MTM SMART income system. Right now, I'm going to focus on sharing step 1, the simple trade candidate identification formula. Because that step will help you move the furthest, the fastest, right? If you don't do this part right, the rest doesn't matter. So let's dive in to this step so that you can leave here today being able to find the best trade candidates, avoid the bad ones, and you'll be able to hit the ground running and take action and get started today. Make sense? Is that a fair deal? Give me a yes. Let's make sure everybody's still awake, still excited. I'm excited. Yes, says Irving. Yes, says Helen. You two are my favorite in the class. Who else wants to be my favorite in the class here? Come on. All right. So look, watch this. We've got 4 sub-steps to the simple trade candidate identification formula. Identify your objectives on a currently held stock or ETF. Verify the earnings date is after the front expiration, which we'll cover. Verify the offer is no more than 10% greater than the bid. And then evaluate that the trade makes sense based on objectives and strike proximity. Let's break some of these down, all right? Remember, this is not the buy and hold and pray strategy. It's different. They're different objectives. When you have a stock in your existing portfolio, you can have one of 2 objectives, skate or trade. Here's how they work. First, there's a lot of numbers here. Don't get hung up on that. I like to make things really simple for our traders. All you have to look at is one number. In this example, with the stock at $97.22, you could have sold the 101 strike call. See that in the bottom left-hand corner, bottom right-hand corner here, 101. Just that one number. So the strike price or the sales price in the deal you make with the Wall Street trader is struck at $101. That means if the stock is above 101 when this contract comes to its expiration date, the trader will buy the stock from you at that price. So you'd make $3.78 a share times 100, so that's $378 of money, because you owned it at $97.22 and then sold it at $101. So far, so good, right? And look, maybe you want that and maybe you don't. Maybe you have a different objective. This example was the trade objective, meaning trade out of the stock by selling it to take a profit. Now, these are the exact same tactics being used, but with a different objective. This is the ST30 objective. Now, look, this time we're going to look at a different number. 107 down here at the bottom. You see that? 107. Don't even bother with the other numbers on the screen. Just 107. That is the paycheck. That's how much you collect. Because these options contracts are on 100 shares of the stock, that's $107. $107 on a $9,722 investment is a little over 1%. And there were 2 weeks until expiration when I screenshotted this account. All right, are we all good with this? Are we loving this? Yeah. So again, the goal is not to do this once. It's to do it over and over again. They call this annualizing returns. We were just looking at owning 100 shares at 97.22, or let's just round that to 10,000 because, you know, we'll round it to $100 times 100 shares. That's $10,000. If you have a $10,000 investment, and if you were to make a little over 1% every 2 weeks, and now hold on a second, I do want to be clear. You will not make 1% every 2 weeks, right? Sometimes you might collect as low as 0.65% rather. And sometimes you might collect as much as 1.45%. And sometimes you might end up selling your stock at the high price if it rises. And sometimes there are other strategies called adjustments that come into play. But I want to share with you what an annualized return looks like. Opportunity one, an annualized return comes out to $214 a month on average. That is a paycheck, maybe a part-time job paycheck, but a paycheck, some nice side money, right? A couple nice dinners each month, or an extra vacation this year, right? Opportunity two, maybe you want to grow your long-term investments or your retirement account faster. This could all be on one stock, or it could be you're using this method on a few stocks you own. This is a $27,820 annualized return. $27,820, that's like a paycheck from a full-time job for some people, right? Opportunity three, some people have bigger investment accounts and they want to grow them by adding cash and lowering their risk. That annualized return in this scenario comes out to $278,200 a year. Now, I said this before, and I'll say it again, just to be clear. We're simplifying here. And in some ways, we're oversimplifying. There will be some 2-week periods in which you collect more or less than 1%. Some where the stock rises and you sell at a higher price. Some where you do adjustments to maximize overall returns. The important thing is for your mind to start working with me and being open to possibilities, right? We also want to verify the timing of this contract. We have some control over when it expires. One thing about trading, it is about consistency, consistent income. Nobody likes surprises. So we like to find the riskiest days and let other people have that risk and we sit it out. Make sense? That's how we're able to be consistent. We plan our expiration date around any known event that can add risk like earnings announcements for a stock, right? Maybe Fed meetings or unemployment reports if we're talking ETFs and so on. And we simply remove it from the equation. Let other people have that risk. We'll focus on consistency. Isn't that what you want, right? Yes. And then we want to evaluate that the trade makes sense based on objectives and strike proximity. The makes sense factor is a simple yes/no test of whether the potential trade candidate should be traded or not. And this is part of it right here. Here are two examples. The one on top is the one you saw earlier. Look, getting paid $107 on a $9,722 investment, or a little over 1% over a 2-week period, that makes sense. No rational person would tell you otherwise. But look at the bottom one. A trader would collect 8 cents an option. That's $8 of cash. That's just too small an amount. Again, you want to do this to tap into the consistent cash flow in your portfolio. And you want to make it easy on yourself. Make sense? Right? There are two metrics it's essential to focus on here: ROI and COI. You can see the ROI you can get with this strategy. I just shared how powerful it is to get cash income over and over while building up insurance, as well as selling high and buying low. But COI is actually more important. In this market, what's the cost of doing just what you're currently doing? Or in any market, right? Is your account where you would like it to be financially? And if it is, that's great. You made a choice, a decision to make that happen. And making those choices is what makes great investors, right? Trading is psychological. You learn a lot about who you are when you trade. Are you afraid to make an investment? In fact, are you afraid to invest in yourself? I hope not, right? Fear is the enemy of traders. Invest fearlessly. Warren Buffett said the best investment you can make is an investment in yourself. It's always about how much you can make from that investment, right? If you're fearful and think of investing like you want to save your money, put it under your mattress instead of investing it, I'd say you might end up holding yourself back with self-imposed limitations. Fair enough? Fortune favors the bold. It takes money to make money. It is important to visualize a profitable future. If you look back 3 years from now and you can confidently say, yes, I've generated a bunch of cash, my risk is consequently lower, I really took the steps to make this happen for myself, what would those steps have to be? And when do you want to take those steps? A year from now? There is a cost of inaction, but taking action, that can be life-changing, and it's exciting. When you're writing these contracts and making the deal with the trader on the other side of the contract, when you sell at the higher price, you want to get the best price. And when you have the skate objective, you want to collect the most you can, right? We as people in control of our own future wealth all have the same goals. It's my goal and my goal for you to make as much money as possible, which I'm pretty sure you want as well, right? When you tap into this income source already in your portfolio and generate consistent cash flow from your trading without being handcuffed to simply buy and hold and pray, you no longer have to be at the mercy of the markets like most frustrated investors. Can you imagine having the confidence of knowing you can outperform in up markets as well as down markets, cranking out cash consistently over and over again? Feels good, doesn't it? That's the MTM SMART income system. Are you getting this? It's all about having an investor's mentality. Now, look, I went over in detail step one, the simple trade candidate identification formula, because what's our deal? I want to show you how to be able to find these trades, because that's a very, very important step, to find the best trade candidates, so that by the end of this presentation, you'll be able to take the next step and to take action, right? But these other steps are important as well. The max profit option value screening technique is important because, look, we don't want to do this on every single stock in our portfolio. We must be selective and only screen and only trade the ones that screen out. The ones that screen out for overpriced options, for value, which we use volatility charts to identify that. The amazingly easy strike and expiration solution. So we touched on a little bit of that. When we talked about our objectives, we talked about which strike to choose. And basically it kind of works like this. You know, if we have the skate objective, we want to use the highest strike so that there's a lot of room for the stock to go up without getting a sign. When we have the trade objective, we want to sell it closer to the money strike, so we take in a bigger premium, right? So that's a good part of the strike selection. Expiration selection, we touched on some of that as well. The one thing that we need to know is we want to avoid earnings. We want to avoid Fed announcements, unemployment. So we need to kind of be selective and plan around some of these events. There's a little bit more to that, like screening and finding the highest theta expirations, but if you know that about avoiding earnings, you're ahead of 90% of the traders out there. The results-driven trade entry tips and tricks. So with a lot of options, the bid-ask spreads are pretty wide. And if you just go and you sell the bid, like you end up leaving a lot on the table and putting yourself at a disadvantage. So we want to do what's called middling the markets, but here's the thing. Not all options allow you to easily middle the markets. Some of them it's really tricky. So because I used to be a market maker down trading in the pits, I was the guy on the other side of your trades. So I share what I call the 25-20 middling technique that shows you exactly how to middle some of these trickier to middle options. And then if step one is the most important step, step 5 is probably also the most important step. I call this the 3 M's of investing. Management makes money, right? So many people, I just gave a presentation shortly before this. So many people, when they don't do this right as part of a system, when the stock goes up through the strike price, they mess it up, they get really worked up about it, and they end up trading poorly. So it's very, very essential to be able to follow our adjustment and rolling plan to manage your trades. When you do this as part of a system, and I'll be able to share some of this later in the Q&A section, this becomes very, very powerful. Now, can you make this happen? Well, let's talk about realistic opportunities. How often can I find opportunities like this? There are literally hundreds of opportunities like this in the market right now. If you don't take action on great opportunities, your ROI remains stagnant, and that painful COI continues adding up. Are these returns common? Yes, studies prove this data. If you can identify the best candidates, set them up right, and manage them, the sky is the limit. What if the trade doesn't work out? Well, look, each trade is a step in a proven system. Work the system works. And then I have a question for you. I shared some of my results, right? I think it was $2,600 in a 2-week period. I showed you the chart, how much you can collect over and over again. I have a question for you, and I would like to take a poll right now. And so I want everyone to answer this question. How much do you think that you can make in just 1 month using this system, the MTM Smart Income System. Please go to the chat box and tell me, how much do you think, now that you have a feel for this, that you can make in a 1 month period? Ready, go. Let's see some numbers. I want to know. Irving says $450. Okay. Who else do we have? How much do you think that you can make in a 1 month period? Helen, you're answering some questions. Jay, what do you guys think? How much can you make in a 1 month period? $450? Okay, that's fair enough, Helen. You don't know yet. I understand. So look, this is the MTM Smart Income System. I want you to be able to trade consistently and confidently and have peace of mind about your finances. And I bet you do too. And guess what? You can do this. If you can follow a simple checklist and take the next step towards beating the market today, I'm going to make it so that you are able to start today. In the complete MTM Smart Income System, here's just some of what you'll learn. Time-saving ways to easily scan the market for the top income trades. Where to get real-time data that identifies the best trades. How to screen for value to make more on winning trades. The 7 steps to selecting the best strikes and expirations with the biggest payoffs. How to manage the bid-ask spread for overall profits. How to use the complete system, including covered calls, cash secured puts, the recycle trade, adjustments, credit spreads, and so much more. And then the rest is all about management. How to recoup losses when the stock falls, turning losers into winners. How to manage trades when the stock rises through the strike price. How to manage, adjust, and roll because management makes money. Here is how this works. As soon as you join today, you're going to get a username and a password to the MTM Smart Income System. Starting today, you'll begin watching the 5 easy to follow online modules that literally lay out exactly how to generate regular, consistent income from your existing portfolio so you can grow your account faster, protect yourself better in down markets, and make it easier to start reversing any losses you might have. Now, let's talk about who this is not for. Just to be clear, this is not for someone whose philosophy of trading is gambling. It's just not that kind of strategy. This is to get paid over and over again with confidence and consistency. People who like to bet big and don't care if they lose, that's a totally different trading style. This is also not for people who would rather spend many years' time and money and endure losses to learn on their own over many years' time. This is the fast track. I'm giving this presentation now because there's never been a better time for this strategy. And if you're serious about your investing in your financial future, I will help you and make it really, really easy for you. This is also not for wishy-washy procrastinators, overthinkers, wishy-washy people who see a good investment but can't make a decision to save their lives. They don't make good traders, but that's easily overcome for most people. Make up your mind right now and start changing your life. If you want it, it can be that simple if you let it. And hey, you're here today. You've already begun investing in yourself as far as time goes, right? So who is this for? This is for you if you want more consistency, if you want to lower your risk, if you believe your success is tied to following a methodology, if you can follow a few simple steps, and if you're willing to invest in yourself. It all comes down to return on investment. And I wanted to make sure that this investment is easy to recover fast so you can start profiting and growing your wealth quickly. Traders can join us for just $1,999. And even if it takes you a month or 2 months, heck, even if it takes you 3 months to cover that investment, the lifetime of monthly income that can follow can be life-changing. And as investors, we know this. We think in terms of return on investment, right? Now, I want to help fast track your success. And one thing that I know is that you are here because you want to drive results. And so for people that are action takers, I want to give you everything that you need, not only to succeed, but to help you fast track that process. And the best way I can do that is to give you a handful of bonuses that I know from training thousands and thousands of traders are going to help you get there that much faster, right? And so first, I'm going to give you today the Options Impact video series. This is our quick start video series. What this is going to do is whether you're a new trader or if you've been trading a long time, I'm going to give you the foundation that you need in order to start building upon the techniques and the system I'm going to share with you. With this bonus, you now have the fundamental education that will show you exactly the lessons from the years and years of trading I have in my background, so that you can have the same philosophy as me. And you can have that confidence and competence when you get into the market, so you can trade like somebody who's been trading successfully for years. And I'm going to give you this normally $497 8-video entry-level quick start bonus absolutely free for people who take action today. And some of you might already have experience trading options, maybe a lot, and that's great. You'll be able to take what you're already doing and do it better. Select better trade candidates, manage them better, apply some of the more advanced strategies in this system. And I'll make it real easy. This is a quote from Mark from Bellevue, Washington. Mark was an environmental consultant. Now he trades full-time as basically a professional trader. I wanted to see if the MTM Smart Income System would help a trader like him. He loved it. He uses it every day. He says it's easy to understand, presented in a logical manner, and he uses it to grow his retirement assets. So what this means is first you're going to get the MTM Smart Income System and also get the Options Impact Quick Start video series. The second thing that I know with training thousands and thousands of traders is that trading is a lonely, lonely game. And a lot of times, the best thing that I can do as a coach is to help you silence that voice of doubt that you have as a trader. I need to help silence it so you don't second guess yourself. So I want to put you in a community of traders that go through the same struggles that you do, whether you're new to investing or you're experienced, right? This is the best thing that I can give you to help build your confidence and help get from where you are today to where you want to be in the next 30 days, 60 days, a year from now as a successful investor. So I'm going to give you access to this $297 bonus as well for everybody who's here to take action today. So what this means is that first you're going to get the MTM Smart Income System and also get the Options Impact video series and also the MTM Community Chat Room. This is a $2,793 value. Now, lastly, the biggest #1 trade that I see between traders that are just messing around and people who want to start taking massive action, making a change in their lives and start driving results in their investing, is people that are not afraid to take action. Hesitation is one of the worst things that can happen to you in the market. And the real bonus is the impact this can have on your family's financial future. If all this did was give you the tools and confidence to have more financial security for you and your family, wouldn't it be worth it just for that? I mean, look, big picture, Mark Cuban's worth $4 billion. And look, we're not all at that point, of course, right? But if you can use the same techniques as the world's top investors, I believe you can make a profound change in your life by starting right now. But not everyone has $4 billion like Mark Cuban. So I'm going to make this really easy. Join right now for a small, easy investment of $347 by going to markettaker.com/smart. That's markettaker.com/smart. Market like stock market, taker like take what's rightfully yours, 2 T's in a row, markettaker.com/smart. And you'll get everything I know that you need, all the bonuses to have in order to go from where you are now to where you know you can be as an investor, but you have to take massive action. And I know some of you are new to the Market Taker family. You're just learning about all the traders we've helped in our community. We're getting to know each other. So I want you to have no worries whatsoever. So I'm giving you my 30-day, 100% money back guarantee. If you complete all 5 modules within 30 days and you're unhappy for any reason, we will give you a full refund, no questions asked. This class is that good. Now, I want to give you one more thing, and this is the big one. I want to give you an opportunity for John to be your coach. I want John to help coach you through this process. And for the next 30 days, I'm going to give some of you access to our Market Taker Live Advantage group coaching. That's where John goes inside the market with you online every day. For the next 30 days, you're going to get to peek over an ex-Goldman Sachs guy's shoulder. So picture this. Every day you get up, you log into your computer and into the online group coaching session. You have an ex-Goldman Sachs guy share with you the best trades of the day. You're seeing exactly how we're using the MTM Smart Income System and other strategies so that you can take the best advantage of it possible. And look, this is not for everybody. Like I said, this hands-on training is for people that are massive action takers so you can start getting immediate results. This trade room style class is normally $497, and the first 8 people to join us right now during this webinar also get John's trade ideas free for every day for 1 month. The first 8 people right now, 1, 2, 3, go to markettaker.com. That's market like stock market, taker as in take what is rightfully yours, 2 T's in a row, markettaker.com/smart. And again, join us right now. You'll save over 90% off the full value of this complete training package. I'm really looking for my decisive people, my action takers, those of you who will put this to use and become a great success story for us and for yourself. In fact, I want to share with you some stories from some traders that we've helped with this training. Meet Ann from Houston, Texas. So Ann says, Dan, thank you for developing the MTM Smart Income System. I'm investing within my IRA. At 75 years of age, I cannot afford to lose money. I've made a lot of money with SMART. What I like best is how easy you make it to tell whether a particular stock is a good candidate for the system. And now it feels like the only thing left for us to do is to rake in the money. Also meet Michael S. from Naples, Florida. He says, I'm happy to recommend the SMART System Option Training Program. I found it to be a comprehensive and logical program. It's a large volume of information, and the program module works well to provide beneficial education for a variety of trader experience levels. I also feel there was good support offered and available when questions arose, which he got through the chat room, which is why we give that to you. This is Tom B. from El Segundo, California. He says, thank you for everything you've taught me. My accounts are higher than they've ever been, and I have much more confidence in my investing and trading ability. And this, Tyler M. from Lexington, Tennessee, this comes from my favorite email I've ever gotten. This is in the PS line of an email he sent us. He says, I took Dan's MTM course about 7 years ago in college, and it was my first exposure to a structured options trading strategy. He started me down the path that I'm on today, and super thankful to have stuck with it. Now I'm a professional options trader at a fund. So look, if you're brand new to options, never traded a call or put before in your life, we're going to give you the quick start options impact video series. But even if you're very, very experienced, we take people to the top level. We train people to be professional traders. Matthew H. from Lakewood Ranch, Florida says, I will have paid for a little more than half the class in 3 days. Thank you in particular, Dan, for taking the time and making the effort to break down trading into everyday Joe language and bit-sized pieces of information that any layman can understand. But for you to get those same results, you have to do what Matthew did and what Tyler did and what Tom did and what Michael did, what Ann did, what all our students did, and go right now to markettaker.com/smart. And the first 8 of you are going to get all these bonuses, including the daily hands-on training group coaching class. Now I'm going to open this up to a couple questions, but now is the time to join us by going to markettaker.com/smart. Do we have any questions on this program or anything we talked about here in the webinar? Do we have any questions about anything that we covered in the webinar or anything about this very, very special offer for our friends hosting this webinar today? Any questions? What's your experience with tax consequences using this method? Right. So Irving, my experience with tax consequences is I hire an accountant. I am not a tax expert. One thing that I do know is that if you own a stock at a very low cost basis, like maybe you bought Apple back in the 80s, you might not want to get assigned and end up selling those shares because you might have to pay a lot in taxes. So I highly recommend that you work with the tax professional, which is not me. I can show you how to make the money. It's my goal to pay $1 million next year in taxes. I'm working on it, right? But I am not a tax expert. I show you how to make the money. I show you how to use these strategies to enrich your life and lifestyle, but I'm not a tax expert. All right. So, but hopefully that one tip that I gave you about maybe not wanting to get assigned might be beneficial to you. I wouldn't want to risk the sale of some of my holdings. Yeah. I mean, look, there are ways around it. I was just part of a presentation where someone in the presentation stated, and I knew about this as well, but you know, I'm not making this statement. There might be things you can do with your broker, like doing LIFO, last in, first out on assignment, but you will absolutely want to talk to your broker first and your tax accountant, where there might be some ways around getting assigned on shares that you own for a long time. But again, not advising anybody. Talk to your broker, talk to your accountant. You're welcome, Irving. And I sure hope that you join us today, because you know, you'll be able to do these things. And I give you tips on ways to potentially avoid assignment, especially with calls. Like, you're much more likely to get assigned when you're short puts than you are with calls, unless it's a hard to borrow type scenario. So there's tons of tips in the MTM Smart Income System and some of the modules to help do everything you can to avoid assignment. Any final questions? If not, I'm going to hand it off to the good folks, David here, who kindly invited me to come and share some of what I know with everyone here. Thank you for David. Thank you for inviting us, and audience, thank you for being you. Thank you for showing up and investing in yourself today. And congratulations to the folks who did join us. I give one more question here. Gray says, I'm passive. This is too active. Any other way? This is the most passive option strategy that there is.